doing here. I'm not the comms person.
No,
I don't do
you
comms.
don't need to stress at all. So what the green is for. This is the difficult thing with all this. This is why I've been doing, because everyone's like, oh, let me know, I can help, I can do this. And I'm like, yeah, but I have to explain all of the stuff to you before you can help me.
Okay.
And it's like,
I'll
you know what I mean?
read it. I'll read it in the background thing. It's fine.
No, it's not. You don't have to. It is so good when you see someone. Yeah.
Yes. I love seeing someone be a good egg.
Yes, when you think they're good and they turn out to actually be good. It's like, yeah. I hate it when you see people like Jessica Malboy, who you think is going to show up for mob and then turns out that they're pro-Israel. Disappointing. But yeah, I got a friend who's got a massive crush on Jessica Malboy and has been performing at a couple of gigs that she's been at and managed to score her number. So I'm like, good luck to you.
You decide to go back.
No.
And the chat,
definitely
yes, that was
not.
a threat.
Yes. I'm more than comfortable to unalive this bitch. What are you talking about? I know where you live.
You made me be nice to them.
You made me be nice to them for years. No, they have been doing very, very well lately. So
oh gosh, I don't care. They don't deserve to.
Yes. Maybe just for casual you would. Yeah. I don't know. I'm one of those people, I got to be honest, and I have actually let me know. Okay, Richie, you let me know, because I know that you know me and you know how direct I am. I can't help shit. I'm so fucking direct. And if you're upset with me and you're not direct with me, Richie will tell you. I will not know. You have to come out and tell me, bitch, you fucking pissed me off. What's wrong with you? I will not fucking know. So I'm also saying with people,
sometimes you have to also say, hey, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It goes both ways. It's a fun time.
Why are you reading? It's a fun time. Yeah. Yeah. Just for absolute maximum confusion. So I've been doing this thing. I do this thing with guys when, okay, so I saw this TikTok a little while ago and I commented on it and I was like, yeah, that could never be me. So this guy was on making this TikTok and he was complaining because he'd been messaging this girl and then she ghosted him for like a week. And then she messaged him and said, oh, so sorry. Like, I'm really bad with my phone. And then he was kind of being all passive aggressive with her and being like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that you lost your job. And she goes, haha, I didn't lose my job. What are you talking about? He goes, oh, well, if you weren't on your phone all week, how is your boss able to contact you? I'm pretty sure your boss wouldn't be happy that you were uncontactable for a whole week. Like, you know what I mean? Really passive aggressive. Like, well, you should have texted me. You had your phone on you, clearly. And I'm like, okay, if that's a standard for you, no worries, fine. Communicate that. Don't passively aggressively a week later when they contact you be like, so I will literally, so I have had guys and they do it all the fucking time because this is what dating is like in the year of our Lord 2024 when there are men involved. This is why I've now switched the Tinder to female only, by the way. Life has gotten much better. You're not going to hear any more horror dating stories from me for a while, guys. But fucking hell. So they message you and they start messaging you and the next minute things get a bit saucy and then they obviously have a wank, pass out, you don't hear from them again. And I would message again like the next day and be like, so what happened? You know, and I literally will message them something kind of trying to be funny, like, so am I too much for you? Am I like too full on for you? Or is it a stamina issue? Could you not last that long? You know? Yeah. And most of the time they'll like laugh and respond something like, oh, sorry, I fell asleep. And it's like, of course you did, because you had a wank and fell asleep. I know what you were doing. Don't pretend you're not exactly like every other fucking man with a penis out there. But then they'll just like not respond again after that because they obviously get embarrassed or something. Like I'll respond and be like, you know, whatever. And then after a few days when they just don't respond, I'll respond back and say something along the lines of, okay, it was nice knowing you. Like, feel free to delete my number. This is like, this is not for me. Done. We're done. Thank you. Goodbye. Enough. And I had a guy who I was friendly with. I won't say mates, like we're friendly, we're acquaintances. And I did that at the same process. Same thing happened with him. He, was messaging me and whatever, and same thing happened. Like the same story repeats itself. Did the same thing, messaged and said, okay, just so you know, all good. But closing the door on that one. No, thank you. And like a week later, Ivan, hello. I'm making the background for you to join us. Don't worry, I am doing it. But then like a week later, I promise. But a week later, I get a message. A week later, I was interacting with one of their posts, and I was like, "Oh, can't wait to see this. You're going to be fantastic." And then they messaged me, and they were like, "Oh, are we good? Like, is everything okay?" I was like, "Yeah. Why wouldn't it be?" They're like, "Oh, because of the last message you sent me." I was like, the last message I sent you was you're not going to get to see me naked. Not that we can't be friends anymore. Like, what? I don't understand. I was very clear about, making the background be like, just talking.
This is why when we go out, we don't leave my house. Like, this is the
vibes.
This is the shit show that happened.
I haven't even had my cone yet.
Oh, mate.
Oh, yeah. Are we good? Yeah. Also, it's really dark outside, Trat. Yeah. No, it is so true. Are we good? Are we good is a bit of a toxic. Like, are we good? Like, I don't want to talk about what happened or if I've upset you or if I've wronged you or like just are we good? Like, I just want to check that. I don't know. It was just a weird thing to her because in my mind, if I had got that message and I had been concerned that someone was upset with me, I would have messaged back and been like, I'm so sorry, are you upset with me? I don't know. So the fact that he didn't, I was like, so we're cool. Like, he knows we're cool. He knows it's not a big deal. So to get a message like, not even a week later, I should say, like a month later, more than a month, like 2 months later to get a message and be like, are we good? I'm like, what? Have you been worrying about that for a month? What is going on? This is so weird to me.
Yeah, no. That's why I have like a cat and a job.
Yeah.
And like friends. And like
keep me busy.
My mum. No. Because like fuck that shit.
I honestly need to move up to Perth so that I don't have to try and date for my social interaction.
I'm not opposed to that. I'll stick to any reason. Yeah, sure. But I mean air quality. That's a lie.
Yes.
Urban sprawl. Who doesn't love that? Traffic?
Yeah.
Shit public transport.
Yeah,
really
but I got that down
rentals.
here. I got shit public transport here too. Also expensive public rentals. Really expensive rentals.
Yeah, but with more
down
people.
Here too.
You love more people and crowds and loud noises.
Oh,
all your favorite things.
All my favorite things in one convenient location. I remember when I first moved to Melbourne, I was so overwhelmed. And then I moved back to Perth and I was like, God almighty, Perth is dead. Like, even on a Saturday morning, there's no one walking around Perth. Now I go up to Perth and I'm just like, holy fuck, where did all these people come from? Who are you all? What's going on?
I remember you'd come up and it was for work and it was like, I don't know, August or something. And you were just like, it's so hot. Oh my God. And I had like a jacket on and I was like, what is wrong with you? Shut up. You've only been there a couple of months. Like, Jesus. Put your shoes
I was in
back
that
on.
hotel. I was in that hotel that had no air conditioning and I wanted to go and complain and you were like, it's August. What's wrong with you? You're like, great. August is purling. We're being warned to prepare for ads. Bone cone time. Ads. We do bone cone during ads. Ad break. Woo.
How do you know the ads are coming? Where's the countdown?
The countdown is on my TV. The TV tells me, but also Kim in the comments tells me.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, we love Kim. I mean, we love all of our voiders. I don't have favorites. Voiders. So I need to start a war in the chat. But I got to be honest with you. I have got guys. Thank you. Welcome back. Ad break over. You thought, all right, I just got change and found Mary Jane in my pocket. Best day ever. Yeah. What? There's a favourites list? No, there's no favourites list. But I will say, we've got all the boys representing here at the moment. The boys in the void have got to be, they are my proof that, like, it's not all men. The boys in the void are just, and whenever you start complaining about all men, they all jump in straight away. They're all like, oh, yeah, guys are the fucking worst. They are the best group of men in the fucking void.
I will vouch for that. I'll give them a LinkedIn recommendation. Is the best.
Yes. They are just the absolute best. I don't even know. When I first started doing this, I was so nervous. I was just like, oh, God, I don't know even who's going to show up. And then everyone who showed up was just the coolest motherfucker. I was like, yay, this is awesome. Yay. I love these people. I still haven't done my bone cone, though. I'm going to come down and hide.
I feel like you're not. You feel like you're very on screen. Just making some tea, which is fine. Nothing to see here that I need to be concerned about, because I'm not looking at the screen and I don't know what's going on. So
listen to that kettle boiling, bubbling away.
I didn't do law. Does that count as plausible deniability if I didn't see anything? Because I literally, this is recorded. My eyes are not on that screen whatsoever. Unsure how that works legally, but I saw nothing, and now all I can see is you struggling to breathe.
I have a prescription and I can send you a copy of it if you like for your records.
Oh, sweet. It's legal, then that's fine.
Yeah, it's legal.
Then that's, well, okay, then I can look at the screen. Excellent.
Do you know how many
plausible.
Do you know how many jars I got delivered in the post yesterday?
It's fucking sick.
Oh, it is the best. It is the best.
It's very expedient as well, I'd say. Like the speed at which it's delivered is exceptional as well. Like I don't know how none of my other parcels make it to me that well.
Absolutely. I'm like, I'm sorry.
But
if they can get this to me in 2 days,
why
am I still waiting?
In the country. It takes
I
you
know. That's what I mean. They can get it to me in 2 days and I'm in the country. And I got motherfuckers telling me that because I'm in the country, that's going to take a week to get a parcel to me. Fuck off. I can get contraband substances from interstate in 2 days. Don't tell me you can't deliver me my vinyl record.
Correct.
Oh, these allergies.
Open up the airways.
Excuse me. Should whistle after. Does that help if I whistle after?
I don't know.
Will it stop me coughing if I whistle after?
I don't know.
I don't know, Zab's comment in there was
yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm gonna run and pee quickly. Are you gonna hold down the fort for 5 seconds while I run and pee?
I mean, sure, that's fine.
Okay, everyone in the chat, quick, send this to the most racist person that you know and make them donate. Tell them they have to donate $5. Quick, everyone in the chat.
Yep. Sure.
Oh, whistling kettles. Yeah. Like the boiling kettle.
All right, who wants to hear embarrassing stories about Tamara? Go. Put it in the chat. No, I will admit she it's a very good egg. What's one of my favorite ones? One of my favorite ones is that she ran as a candidate in an election and I was her campaign manager, and it was election night and she was quite shit-faced. And we were out the front of, I can't remember what pub it is, but it was a pub and it was a Saturday night. And so it was really like packed and there were just heaps of people everywhere. And we were crossing the road and she just like face planted it as going, I'm the candidate for Nedland. It was great. It was excellent. It was a real metaphor for our campaign in the end. That one's like a nice embarrassing one. There's many more. She definitely would have already told everyone she has no filter at all. That is correct. I managed that by picking her up and also saying that we weren't the candidate for the party that we were the candidate for loudly. And that's how I managed that situation, because no one was going to remember. They'll just remember a party and potentially the seat. So all good. That's managing media, baby.
What were we talking about?
I just told them about the time after the election when we were walking and it's like the hotel and you were just like, I'm the candidate for Nedlands. And you just like silly face planted it on the ground. And it was great.
I don't remember that.
Exactly.
How was that? Was that when I was wearing that red vest dress? Yeah. And I had the tan shoes. That was the night when I also decided I was leading the way and I was marching around town. Yes. And I had no fucking clue what was going on.
Correct.
Yeah.
You did not. No.
And
that was a great dress that we picked out.
It was fabulous. I did look fabulous, not gonna lie. Yes.
Look, shared trauma.
I know.
Is a burden lightened. It's fine.
Isn't that like every Aussie Polly though? Exactly. I was practicing my Bob Catter.
Any of them.
I was practicing my Bob Catter impression. Yeah, but he's the one who specifically had photos leaked of him laying face down in the street outside a pub a few months ago.
And Barney.
Oh, Barnaby Joyce. He did too. Oof. Barnaby Joyce did as well.
You're tickled pink for choice at the moment, really.
How embarrassing. Which one of our drunk parliamentarians should I choose to pretend to emulate?
Today.
Fuck. Oh, Grubberman, absolutely. You were showing the town you were qualified. Yes, Mary Jane. I do love that the minute my back was turned, like 5 seconds later, the embarrassing stories are coming out. This is what you need at Besties for. And I swear to Christ, this person right here, if anyone is ever as lucky as me to get a Richie in their life, like I actually can't even tell you how many times this person has saved my life. Like just simply knowing that they are in the world has kept me alive. Honest to Christ.
Because I'll find you and then I'll hurt you for leaving. Like, how dare you? I already let you move away. That's enough.
Also just
enough.
I can just, I get to look forward to staying alive for our next conversation and the next time I get to hang out with you. Because it's you're one of the rare people that I leave out as social interactions with more energy than I entered it. And I don't get that with many people. You may be the only one.
Because we're special. We're special people.
We are special.
The cute thing about Tamara and I, the moment I knew we were soulmates, was when we first met, and it was about 2 minutes in, and I was worried because she was there before me, and I was like, oh no, she's one of these early people. This isn't going to go well. We all know how that ends up. Get along great. But I flick my pen around and always like it goes everywhere. And 2 minutes in, Tamara did it before I did it. And she was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, oh my God, tease me about this. I've never been so seen. And that's how I knew our brains were the same. And I have absolutely.
I remember the first time we met because for me it was love at first sight. And I kid you not, I remember very, very clearly the first time I laid my eyes on you, without a doubt. You came skidding into view wearing this oversized greens t-shirt and this oversized pair of shorts and these Birkenstock slip-on shoes. And you were just like, I'm here. And I had never met you before. And it was this cafe full of people. And I just went, this is my new life. This is my life partner. This is my soulmate. Like, this is the woman I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with. Like, 100%. And that was it. I was in
You
love.
know what? Still go to work in that oversized shirt very often.
Did I bring you my old green shirts up when I? No? I have to do that next time I come up so that you've got them for when you're volunteering and doing things. I have to bring them all up for you.
I have to put that one on like special rotation because it's very much a different shade now. Like it's very much not within the style guide. I don't think. I don't know what the Pantone for that is, but I'm not entirely sure if it's black.
You could probably get away with it, like out volunteering, you know, door knocking. You could probably get away with it, but wrong shade of green.
It's just a Canva joke, really, but you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of just lamer than that, to be honest.
We think we're funny. This is the thing that worries me because everyone
Canva joke.
Everyone keeps telling me that I should start a podcast, and I often think you and I should start a podcast because we make each other laugh so much. But it would be such niche, bizarre jokes that no one else would understand.
Correct. My mum would listen just because she's nice, but we'd have just like one subscriber every week. My mum being
and she'd have
it. Stop.
She'd have it turned down really low so that she could not quite hear it when she was vacuuming. She'd have it turned down low and be vacuuming while it was on.
She'd have Taylor Swift on over us. Don't worry.
Yes.
She'd just play it underneath and have Taylor Swift going.
Oh, absolutely. Bit sleepy, waiting for the sun. That's what podcasts are, niche jokes that only the fans get. Over time, your fans would piece things together, and that's part of the fun, the lore. Okay. Well, we could.
I don't know that I'm lore worthy.
Are you kidding? You already have your own lore. Okay. Well, we could.
I don't know that I'm lore worthy.
Are you kidding? You already have your own lore. You're a mythical goddess. What are you talking about?
Okay, sure. I'm unaware of that Wikipedia page, but cool. Tell me more.
Hey, Tim. Were you napping about 4 hours ago? I was napping about 4 hours ago. That is correct. That is correct. It was only for 2 hours.
Was it?
It was only an hour longer than I was supposed to nap for. I went to bed at 1, thinking that I'd be up at 2, and then I didn't wake up until 3.
It's okay. Like technically, you were on camera. You just like weren't awake on camera. So like you didn't leave or anything.
Exactly. I've been on camera for the full time so far, except for those toilet breaks.
Like technically, there would be like, and I'm not saying it's anyone in the chat at all. And not that there's anything wrong with this either, but you could probably charge more for some people to like watch you sleep. Like that's actually probably a niche thing you should probably look into.
I should start an OnlyFans of just watching me sleep.
Because again, you benefiting is me benefiting. So like, let's get that money, girl.
Get that bag. Yeah.
Let's go on holiday.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So we do need to plan a holiday. I need a holiday ASAP. When are we doing that? What are we doing? Help me set up have you got OnlyFans, Abzab? You have an OnlyFans? Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. I was going to set one up. I kid you not. Not even for sleeping though. Like, not for sleeping. I was going to set one up because I was like, yeah, I'll 100%, I don't know, create content in my underwear. Like, I'll do the same thing that I do on TikTok on OnlyFans in my underwear for money for people. Like, I'll 100% do that for YL to get their family out of Gaza. Like, no problem. And then everyone was like, oh, no, it's way too hard to set up. And I was like, oh, okay, scratch that. I don't have the stamina. I could do this. I could do the nude content. I couldn't do the paperwork. That stopped me.
I enjoyed and also got really jealous. Not gonna lie at all. Like just owning it. when some of the girls from Twerk were saying like how much they make through their OnlyFans, like because it's in US as well. So the conversion rate is pretty fucking good.
And you hear them, they're like, "Oh, I made 30K last month." He's like, "Fuck you, I hate you." I could build someone a tiny house for that.
Can I just put in some little messaging along the top, like, I don't know, housing is a human right.
Yes.
Free Palestine.
I'll be talking about that the entire time. Zab, sometimes cooking with no apron. That sounds dangerous. Yes. What about the precious cargo? What about the family, you know, the lineage, the family, the
With how much you enjoy cooking. In general.
I'm getting a bit. Sorry, man cooking naked. I just can't. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not gay. maybe I'm a little bit more than 10% straight. I know.
Well done, Pat. Look at you.
I was going to say, don't read the chat. Don't read the chat. Don't read the chat. Don't read the chat. I can say saucy things with a straight face, but I can't handle it when other people say it. It's okay. Yeah. Finger switch is great. Yeah, spitting oil isn't fun. No one wants a naked man cooking ever. Jesus wept. Kim, I'm sorry. Did you not just see the reaction? What do you mean? What do you mean no one wants a naked man cooking? Hello? Have you met the female species? What are you talking about?
I'm not opposed to it.
I've never met. Yes. I could put up with a naked man cooking. That sounds. I
don't know.
Sounds doable. I know.
Are we using our bodies to cook with while we're naked? Is that part of the not? Like, say, it seems like it's following work health and safety and food safety protocols there.
An equivalent. Maltesers though, and she's like, no.
Especially while his family get out from Gaza.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for joining us. How is the sound, everybody? Let me know what we're thinking. Yes, have a good nap, Richie. Thank you so much for joining us today. You've been amazing.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Have good luck on the campaign trail, and we will be following your upcoming election campaigns with avid interest.
Thanks.
Yay.
One for us.
Yay.
Bye.
Embarrassing stories about tomorrow. So that was exciting.
That was, yes. Can you guys see the backdrop, or is the backdrop gone?
It's pitch black for me.
It's pitch black. Yeah. Okay. It's gone again. Okay. Excellent. No worries.
I'm gonna turn my camera down a little bit, but I'm eating.
There
you go. All right. Wow.
We got it. We got it happening. We're professional around here, guys. What do you mean?
I was gonna say we gotta up our game.
Like now I've just got to get the chat back, because the all important chat, they're the king of the stream.
Mm-hmm. Well, just like any good communist, we gotta organize.
Yes, absolutely. And how are we going to do that without our copyrights? I've got to adjust the color settings on this.
You can't have communism without a disco background. I mean,
no.
What do they call it? Gay future space communism or whatever.
Yeah,
space communism. It's to help me keep me awake.
Fully automated luxury gay space communism.
There you go.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I absolutely don't know how I was planning on staying awake without all of the help.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I'm used to staying up for a day at a time, but I know that's not normal or healthy.
No.
So when I came in earlier, I was like, are they going to be up the whole night? That's why I was asking you earlier.
Yeah, no. I I was going to be, and then it got to 1 a.m. and I went, no, this is not going to work for me. I need to change. I need to fix this. This is select color. Oh, thank you. I figured it out again. I was lamenting this earlier. Being ADHD, every single time I have to do something, I have to relearn the skill every time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys find that?
I mean, as a recently diagnosed ADHD myself, yeah.
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 Yup.
It's like if I take too long off of, like, I'll know it like the back of my hand if I do it consistently, because like, it becomes like a pattern. But if I take like a week, 2 weeks off of doing it, it's gone. I got to relearn it.
Mm.
No.
Oh, do you guys need me to turn the AC off?
I can't hear yours.
All right.
Yeah,
I already turned mine off.
Okay, good.
I've just demolished the chat again. The chat's disappeared. Oh, God.
Good. Googly moogly. That's okay. We're here for a good time.
We're here for a good time and a long time, guys.
That's true.
And now here is your hourly reminder to who we're going to send it to this hour, guys. Send it to
the Patriotic Socialists, our ops, pretty much all white communists on TikTok, anyone who doesn't believe in intersectionality, anyone who believes in multipolarity. You got any Cutie? Angloids?
Yeah, Angloids, number one Angloid hater here.
send it to the
I'll
family
give
member.
I'll give
who
the
denies
Australians
climate
grace.
change.
Yeah, we gotta talk about when we're all situated. We gotta talk. I got some questions about Australia.
Oh, really? You got some questions about Australia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. I hope I deliver. I hope I'm able to.
I think it's fine. I think it'll be fine. I'm not that much of a hard hitter.
Okay.
Excellent. When we did interviews for our documentary, I literally was like 2 questions. I wasn't trying to get anybody.
We're on the stand. I was going to say the chatter all here to represent as well when I get them back, when I am able to get them back on screen. Don't know what I did with them. Chat, come back.
Come back, no.
Come back. Okay. Why is it working?
The nervous clicking in the background is
tap. I'm not bringing back my camera. I'm not bringing back the camera until my face doesn't look just like a mask of shock and panic.
If it makes you feel any better, last week on the collective podcast, I accidentally Googled my bank in front of everybody and
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that. What is going on?
What the hell are you doing?
That's a warning. Okay. Looks like the chat is back again.
Okay.
Looks like they are back again. So I'm gonna re-enter myself. I'm gonna bring myself back in now as well. So I can show my face again now that I've brought the group back together. I no longer have to hide in shame. Here we go.
The furious clicking was punishment enough, I think.
Thanks for sticking with us. There we go. Hello.
Hi.
Here we go. Only took way longer than it honestly should have done. I was like, yeah, I'm going to have everything ready. And the next minute I looked up and it was 5 a.m. I was like, what the fuck? Where did all of that time go?
Well, if I can let people in on a secret when it comes to like content creating or streamers, TikTokers, anybody who you may have a risk of developing parasocial relationship with. We all do this at the seat of our pants, dude. Like,
yes,
like
it up
it's all
as
panic,
go.
It's all furious clicking. Nobody has it down pat, and if they do have it down pat, they have other people doing it for us. Like we have a lot of help on the show now. Shout out Lumpy Louise, because like without them, it's just us. Like.
Furiously clicking in the background and accidentally showing your bank details on stream.
Well, I did that with their help, in spite of their help. So,
Hey, I honestly, on Monday, I was messaging everyone when I was reaching out to them going like, look, I've been trying to organize this 24-hour live stream for a month, and because it's only been me up until now, it's total chaos vibes. But what are you doing this weekend? And I got one person being like, yeah, no worries, I'll pop on. Meanwhile, Ames had 24 hours. Next minute, everybody's they're just absolute legend. Absolute legend. Could not have done this without them, without an oh, sorry, I have a child who's just popped into view. Hey, sweets. 1 second, sorry.
Yeah, you know what I just noticed? Cutie's picture's gone. Or Cutie may be gone in oh, there you are. Nope, you're gone. What happened, bro? What are you just like coming in and out of the void? DM me if you have to. All right. Well, I guess I can yap a little bit while we get situated and I take over the stream, as all communists do. Yeah, so my name's Ivan, and my companion here is Comrade Cutie Pie. We are part of Collective. Collective is a network of Marxist-Leninists, communists whose goal is to make agitprop and general propaganda in order to promote communism. And okay. Sorry, I was just reading a DM from Cutie. I didn't mean to send that message in all caps. That was an accident. But
keeping
yeah,
in line with the technical difficulties, my mic unplugged and just kicked me out.
Yeah, you like popped in and out of the void, and when you came back, you were like, "Bep," and then you disappeared. You got zapped.
I didn't realize. I've been sitting here talking to you, Ivan. I didn't realize I'd left myself on mute from when my kid wandered out. So I apologize. I'm like, what's going on? What's happened to my mic? Dickhead.
Like, is he ignoring me?
No. No, I mean, honestly, the conversation was flowing pretty well, but a little bit awkward, but
Right. Well, we'll start over. Yeah, so we're Collective. We're a network of Marxist-Leninists, communists who make propaganda, agitprop, and our goal is to platform new and old creators on their YouTube channel who would maybe not get as many views alone than they would in a network. So, we do anything from, somebody sends a video to us and we'll host it for them, giving them full credit and everything and any proceeds when we get to that point. And then also we have more of like, like full-time creators.
Awesome.
And just kind of put everything together. It was Comrade Cutie Pie who started the initiative. Originally, I thought that he had picked me because I was special, but turns out he just made a copy-paste message and sent it to a bunch of people and was like, let's see who sticks. And,
let's see who shows up. Yeah.
It was like, me? And then now here we are. Almost
everyone I DM'd it to, was down. And I tried to look back. We've been over this a couple of times, Ivan. I tried to look back at the message to see who got the message first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that I was too quick with it because it shows the same minute that it got sent for every single one of those.
Every person.
So I have no idea who got it first.
That's just divine intervention at that point. Is she trying? Oh no, she muted again. All right.
Sorry. Yeah. No, my kids just wandered back out again. I'm like, go to bed. It's way too early. Obviously, I'm being very loud though. So. Yes. Yeah. No, I am very excited about what you guys are doing. Absolutely. So, I do a lot of public. So my background is in legal theory, political science. I'm also a Koori woman, so I'm Indigenous to Australia. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me and some of the stuff that I do. So I do a lot of education, particularly around public policy and the way the legal system works. And recently, I've been doing a lot of speaking engagements around online political engagement with people. Right. So I've been speaking at schools and I've been speaking to businesses. I did a talk today to a group of business owners about dog whistles, which was very interesting.
So you're out here in the real world. We're just a bunch of podcasters, so I'm not really sure how these channels got like mixed up.
No, I'm very much online as well. Don't get it mixed up. Don't get it twisted. So the reason I started online was because I was working in the housing space. I was working as a housing advocate. I actually work in tenancy support, so trying to help people, prevent people from losing their tenancies, people who are at risk of losing their tenancies. I go in and help them get the support. So quite often, most of the time, when people are becoming homeless, generally it's because like one bill will come up that'll throw them out of whack, like, you know, car rego comes due, or someone breaks a leg in the household and suddenly, you know, we can't mow the lawn anymore, or one thing will go wrong and there'll be a cascade problem. So what we try and do is we try and get in there early when that problem occurs to get them the help and supports they need to ensure it doesn't become a snowball effect. Unfortunately, because of the demand on our service, we were getting cases that were already at that point. So people who were at the point of being evicted because of, for example, cluttering in the house. They call it hoarding. I don't like that terminology. I think that it has a lot of negative connotations, and for people who are suffering from that tendency to collect, those things have a lot of meaning for them, and so referring to it as hoarding can have, you know, negative feelings for them. That's just in the work that I do with people. I know that they don't react well to that terminology. And so that's kind of so I ended up on here because I was basically the risk is, of course, is that the minute someone is kicked out of a house, and the excuse that we kept getting even from the government was that, but we have a wait list that's 17 years long. We've got so many people waiting. We cannot be dealing with these people who aren't playing by the rules, who aren't being good tenants, who aren't paying their bills when we have a wait list. We've got parents with young children living in tents waiting for housing. So really, I was trying to push for the government to invest in more social housing. So I started harassing on Twitter. I just started harassing the state premier at the time, who was Mark McGowan. I just started harassing him every day. He was releasing the COVID numbers. I just started harassing him about the numbers of housing insecure people that we had. I've also experienced homelessness myself. I've been homeless several times, so I've got that lived experience dealing with it as well. And that's how it started. I just started talking to people about it on there, and I got a following. It started growing, and then here we are. now we're doing this.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I mean, it's wonderful that you got into the field like that, and you've done so much work, and that you're putting on this podcast, and you're having these two goofballs on here to yap with you. So. Hopefully.
My camera will be on soon, I promise. I was eating some glizzies over here.
Oh, you don't have to
Australians know what glizzies are?
No.
That's my first Australian question.
What's a
no?
glizzy?
All right. Explain, little mama.
A glizzy is just a hot dog.
Oh! What on earth? What are we gonna... Tim, how do you know what that is? What do we call hot dogs? What would be the colloquial? What would be the Australian equivalent?
Call them wieners or something? I don't think so.
No, nothing like that. Nah, we got some weird words for stuff, but
that's too white.
Yeah,
is listen. Not that
Sausages.
I'm an advocate for America at all. Quite the opposite. But when we talk about American culture, like glizzy is definitely like part of the American culture. Because I think
I've never heard
in
that
some
before.
places.
Yeah, like so I'm from New York. So like glizzy is pretty much everybody knows what a glizzy is. If you don't know what a glizzy is, then you're just not, you're not
American.
You're not with
yeah,
the
so we'd
time.
probably say snag. Bunnings snag would probably be the equivalent.
Snag. Absolutely not.
A Bunnings snag?
Yeah.
What?
I can't imagine being at
You
the
cannot
cookout.
be serious.
Yeah, what? Absolutely.
I can't
Bunnings
imagine.
snag?
I can't imagine
Snag.
being at the cookout with the homies, and you're like, hey buddy, not buddy, you'd be like, hey man, you want a budding snag? Like, what?
Oh, check a snag. Yeah, check
You
a snag.
like
Throw us a snag.
a Bunnings snag?
No, well, because when you're at
Sorry,
Bunnings,
I'm doing
usually your
some
dad, Usually you'll be at Bunnings and your dad will give you a $5 and so go grab us a snag. Quick, go grab us a snag. Grab yourself one too.
Okay.
It's like a store.
Bunnings is a hardware store. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They sell glizzies
And
at the
the,
hardware
So it's like getting a glizzy at Costco.
I was gonna say Costco. Yeah.
Well, they set up
Costco glizzy.
they set up a barbecue at the front. Usually it's the because we don't pay our firefighters over here. They're all volunteers. We ask people over here to risk their lives for no money. And they do it because that's just the Aussie way, because we're dickheads. We do shit like that. And yeah, so they throw on, they put on barbecues outside Bunnings and they sell snags for $1. And that's how they fund the fire service.
All right, I understand. That's very patriotic. See, we have seldom paid firefighters. We have a lot of volunteer firefighters, but in the States we also use prison slaves as firefighters, which is
oh my goodness.
yeah. Well, actually we have somebody on Collective, hopefully, where we're gonna interview. I believe it's a family member, I'm not sure, of theirs who went to prison for a long time and they were a volunteer firefighter.
Oh my
they weren't
goodness.
volunteer, that's just what they ended up doing for like $1 a day. And like some real I mean, firefighting is hazardous to begin with, right? But like, I mean, like serious, like frontline fighting wildfire, like alone in the woods, kind of like nightmare scenario.
Holy shit.
So I mean, that's just, land of the free, right?
Yeah, it's land of the free, all right, except, yeah. And I like that Kamala Harris actually had no problem submitting to the Supreme Court that they had to be allowed to continue keeping prisoners in past the end of their sentences because they needed the free prison labor. The economy depended on the free prison labor. I like that she just put that in writing and submitted it to the court and was just like, yep, I'm just going to make that argument. That's fine. That's cool. Yeah.
I mean, that's Kamala. She's a cop. She was one of the largest prosecutors in California, I think, right? Or at least somewhere on the West Coast. She put a lot of people away, a lot of black teenagers away. She's not a good person.
But
I mean, at least she's straight to the point.
I can't, okay, because I'm very much, obviously we all understand. One of the things I talk a lot about, and I have done full streams for 8 hours talking about this, one of the things I talk a lot about is criminal justice from a communist lens, because I have listened to streams with like, the big names you see on the left. When you think about YouTubers on the left, you think about like Yogo, like Second Thought, Hakeem, those kinds of YouTubers. Yeah. And I've seen them talking about criminal justice and saying, oh, well, I think we need some kind of prison control. And I'm like, no, stop. No, we don't. Stop. The prison system, incarceration was the system that the British developed because it was like one step up from the bloody codes. They then came here to Australia, where the first Indigenous person that we have on record as being incarcerated wasn't incarcerated until the British got here. It was December 1788 that the first Indigenous person was incarcerated, because we had a legal system, we had a system of law and legal practice that didn't require people to be locked up. Like, you just was so primitive, and you come here and called us all primitive. But I do get frustrated when I hear people, and I'm not saying you guys at all, like I'm not at all pointing the finger at you. I'm talking about this particular podcast I was listening to with Kim in particular.
I'm just making a face because Cutie, I literally just talked about the deprogrammed crew and my own thoughts on them.
Issues with them. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to take away from what you're saying, so we could circle back to that.
Oh no, I just feel like we need to, first of all, have it in the space to say, actually, do you know what? Let's find someone who knows about this stuff, who has the leftist views, who can talk to us about it and teach all of us, rather than me deciding I'm going to come up here and say it when I clearly haven't done the reading. Because yes, Marx didn't talk directly about it, but if you read enough of Marx, you can get what he would have thought about prison, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to. There's a whole.
So, no, I got a couple things on that. So going back from the start, so like, I guess just so more context, so this all makes sense. So like, I got into all this left bullshit when I was in college, but I didn't take it very seriously. Like I liked memes, like eat the rich, whatever. But I was still pretty much a lib. I didn't really I would make cringy Facebook statuses and be like, I'm a communist, but not like the Soviet Union, like shit like that.
Yeah.
No nuance, no knowledge, no theory whatsoever. And then,
Yeah.
during COVID, just like everybody else, I got TikTok, and I started seeing people actually talk about this stuff, and that's what really got my interest. Fast forward, I start making content. Cutie catfishes me. I end up doing collective. Here we are. So like a lot of the people who I used to really like, I'm not saying this to make it sound like I'm anybody. I'm not.
No.
But like I used to like to deprogram a lot. And for the most part, I like Hakeem, and for the most part, I like Hugo. But there was an incident that just made me cringe, and I can't watch them anymore. Where basically what happened was they had put out a video that was like, it was called movement building, and they put it behind a paywall. And
Yes.
everybody was like, can you not do that? And then they did a live stream like afterwards, and I listened to it, and someone like donated, so they had to read the comment. So Hugo reads the comment, and he goes, communism is when paywall. And he kind of like stutters, and he's like, I don't know how to answer this. And JT interrupts and goes, just get over it. Like basically like, boo-hoo, give us your money.
Yeah. And I know the incident you're talking about. I stopped listening to them before this, but I do know the incident you're talking about.
So I was like, I was like, I can't. I was like, at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I got what I needed out of it. But I think this kind of goes to like a bigger issue that I kind of want to bring up in general with like communists on TikTok, on Twitter, but mostly TikTok because that's where we're from. Is a lot of people don't actually engage with Marxism. And I understand that a lot of people have a lot of people learn differently. Not everybody can sit and read a book. Some people have alternate methods, but when your entire let's say syllabus is based off of what people online are saying, who they themselves don't necessarily engage with Marx, you end up carrying a lot of incorrect ideas and takes. And with me as a professional yapper, like, don't just listen to collective. You should listen to other people. Like you need to expand your horizons in that regards. But yeah, you'll get a lot of people with a lot of milquetoast kind of like takes, like you were saying, where it's like, oh yeah, just keep the prisons. And I think nobody seriously, unless and feel free to give pushback on this, but like I feel like no one is saying like, yeah, like tomorrow we can just go ahead and not have the systems that we have in place anymore, because when you don't engage with Marxism, you don't necessarily understand that we're talking about, when we discuss revolution, we're talking about the fundamental change of human society and psyche.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about we've won power, we win the government, now everything's all great and awesome.
No.
You actually have to do the work that would probably take centuries to
Marx literally
change.
Describes he describes the transitional societies. He describes the steps that society needs to take along that process, along that journey. And you're right, people who don't engage with it don't realize that. They just go, end result, communism. It's like, yeah, but Marx said we have to have all these different stages along the way first before we get there. That's part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
You can't just wake up to communism. That's not how it works.
You need to establish an economy, or create an economy which is conducive for a classless society. You can't just be like, there are no classes, we're living in a classless society now, guys. Like, that's not how that works. Like,
absolutely. And one of the things I found really frustrating as well with those guys in particular, and not to turn this into a hating on other leftist programs, but one of the things that does frustrate me a lot about the leftist space is the lack of intersection, the lack of realization for intersection. Because even when I was talking about the frustrations I have with Hegel and with Marx, with this idea of progress, with them constantly talking about progress and ignoring the fact that we already had the society that they were talking about before colonization. The society Marx wanted existed before colonization here in this place. It already existed. And like in our culture, it's very much our class, there isn't really, when you talk about hierarchy, it's based on who has the knowledge, who has the expertise, who has the understanding, who do you go to for that particular thing. There's knowledge that's held by certain groups because they're deemed, the best people to carry that knowledge. Now, there's women's business and there's men's business, but anyone can be a woman and anyone can be a man in our culture. There's no binary for it either. Like, you've got sister boys and brother girls. There's no problem with any of that. And a lot of the time with this conversation, I know I'm rambling, I'll summarize this really quickly, but they just kind of keep talking about it as though, yep, it's natural that we start at feudalism and then go through this capitalist phase and then get to this point. And it's that white Western central lens that they're always looking at it through, where it's like, yep, this is the course that we're on. It's like, but hang on, because there is a culture that is already operating, that exists here in Australia, that lives and exists underneath the capitalist culture, because our culture still exists. We're still here. We're still living in a way that, like, I drive up to go and collect the veggies from the aunties up there and drive it down here to do big cookups and to deliver to the mob down here. And like, we absolutely still live in a way that is the same way that our culture would have existed years ago, that is very much based on that collective community. And it is one of the things that, again, when you're talking in serious leftist spaces, you can have that discussion. You can talk about the blind spots that we have towards other cultures and the way that we sort of view this. We talk about progress as being this linear thing, and we talk about this natural journey and ignore these other perspectives, but that is based on where the literature is coming from. But so often the pushback you'll get is, well, Marx did consider Indigenous cultures. And it's like, from a white male European lens, like not from an Indigenous perspective, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's funny. It's not funny. It's nuanced, because, like, I'm saying, people don't engage with Marxism, but then also hold Marx to be some kind of deity.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to understand that Marx and Marxism, I feel like that's one of the worst things about Marxism, is that it was called Marxism. Because people are like, oh, it's the guy. But like, yes, but like, no.
No, yeah.
Yes, but also he was German and 18, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna have that deep understanding. But like, when it comes to intersectionality and what we've been seeing a lot on TikTok, what we've been dealing with, is mostly white people. I'm just gonna who fail to see the necessity, or maybe they do see it and they just ignore it, of intersectionality. Like, there was somebody who was chirping away at us, where they were essentially saying that intersectionality isn't necessary because what is defined as intersectional, whether someone's being racist or sexist or not, is subjective and is based in like fact, and the only thing that really matters is class. But what brother doesn't understand is, why do you think all these people are in the class that they're in to begin with?
Yeah.
Why do you think the class antagonism exists in the first place? They didn't exist just because brown people, transgender people, women, non-binary people just put themselves in those positions. It's because the structure of society is geared to keep those people in those positions, subjugated to the bourgeois. So if you cannot understand intersectionality, you don't understand the need for liberation, then you're never going to understand or ever really truly be, I would say, a communist.
Absolutely. And understanding how interlinked capitalism is with colonialism, and with Catholicism, with Christianity. Like, Christianity, capitalism, colonialization are all three cords of the same rope, and understanding that you have to untangle all three and deconstruct all three, and how all three have pervaded our culture in order to really undo the tangle that is the class struggle. Like, it's because both have been used as a tool of capitalism as well.
You mean to tell me you can't just end capitalism and solve all the world's problems?
Yeah.
Absurd.
And I was
Shocking.
to one of our other collective members, Comrade Larry, shout out Larry, about this last night. And we were discussing, like, again, when you don't understand class antagonisms and the contradictions, right? You fail to understand how certain socialist projects ended up being destroyed. So, like the Soviet Union, for example, like, yes, we can talk about the U.S. sabotage and terrorism and, escalating towards the Third World War, all this stuff. But ultimately, because the class antagonisms weren't resolved, because liberal reforms were introduced and opportunism took effect and a lack of discipline within the major leagues of the party, it leads to people deciding to abandon the socialist project in order to be bourgeois, to be rich. So, like, not everything is just the fault of the West and the Western Empire. That plays a big role in it, but it also has to do with how much of the internal work was really done within the society in order to ensure that the project, the revolution, would continue onward.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And also, I think the other I think, I mean, obviously we all know that there are many other problems, but the borders always get in the way as well. When we see this, eventually, again, we saw it with the First World War, obviously, but we've seen it time and time again that whenever we do have a sort of big push of solidarity and we have like a big workers sort of movement push, it's almost as though, I don't know, like, war is a tactic of the elite to help oppress marginalized classes or something, because they seem to use it to help really, they seem to keep using it to really strengthen up those borders around nations, to separate us from our fellow workers. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist. I don't know.
It's almost like it's a racket.
Yeah.
It's almost like we shouldn't be promoting or advocating for the next world war. But on the other hand, then you get these goofballs who again, when they lack engagement with Marxism, who believe in really silly concepts like multipolarity, or like they don't understand that what's happening in the world right now as the hegemon is changing away from the US. It's not like global communism is on the horizon. It just means that different imperial powers are now having their hands on the reins. So like when it comes to Russia's war in Ukraine and against NATO, like you have a lot of these patriotic socialists who really believe that like Russia and Putin will bring about communism when Putin is an anti-communist. And he's
you misunderstand. Putin said "oorah" at a military campaign.
Oh my god! Right, or like Xi Jinping is gonna send Chinese troops to land in Australia and bring about communism. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, if you don't,
people just don't. Mm-hmm. People don't realize how short a time frame we're talking about with these things, like the omnipolar US system that we have in the international space. That's only existed since the end of the Cold War. Like, the Cold War, the whole thing was the competing interests of these two major powers in this bipolar. Like, so people think, oh my God, like the whole world. No, it's only existed not even for 40 years. Relax. Like, I'm older than America's hegemony over the entire world, for God's sake. Relax.
How much? How much? I don't remember who it was. Some U.S. politician, when the Soviet Union was dissolved, said it was the end of history. Like, that one, and
it was
world.
I can't remember his name, but he's actually a Japanese writer. He's like a liberal historian or something like that. But yeah, that's what he was saying. It was the end of history, that it was all over. Capitalism finally won.
Ad break, guys. Ad break. Do you know what we do on the ad break? Were you prepped for what happens on ad breaks?
No.
It's bone cone time.
It's pine cone time. What'd you say?
It's
bone cone. Bone cone.
I don't know what that means, but sounds
what is that
good.
Bone cone is short. Bone cone is short for bonus content, but it also is short for smoke a quick cone while the ad's on.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Do you guys smoke? Do you smoke a cone? Do you smoke a bowl? How do you describe?
Um,
Yeah, it would be bowl. You'd be smoking a
yeah,
bowl.
bowl.
I'm more of an edible man myself, but
Me too.
You don't call it a cone?
No.
no,
That's
I had
some-
no idea what that meant.
Oh, it's a cone. That's the Aussie. That's the Aussie slang. It's a cone. Yeah. So that's why I call it bone cone. I'm just gonna hide under here. I'm not. Don't ignore the funny noises. I'm just boiling the kettle. You can't see. You see nothing.
That's great.
What are you hiding?
So that I don't get banned from TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Listen to that puppy roar.
Damn.
I wish you were on camera, Cutie. So I could make
You're
eye
blowing bubbles into that water right now. That's crazy.
That kettle is a very quick. It's a very quick steam. It does it very. Takes care of it very quickly.
I was just
Cup
talking
of
about
tea,
how,
Chad. Yes.
I was just talking about how all right, one, like how I have like no tolerance. So like I took like a quarter of like a tiny ass gummy the other day and I was zooted. I was like 8 p.m. I'm going to bed. I was like, I'm done. I can't. That's what years of substance abuse and then sobriety will do to you. You have no tolerance for anything. And then the
My
second,
nickname is the Mole Pig.
what is that?
My nickname.
Oh my
is
God.
Bull Pig.
I can't believe I'm using all these Australianisms and you guys don't. So, do you know what mull is?
A mole.
Mull.
Like
mull
mull-
is
mull.
another word for weed. Mull. MULL. It's another word
How
for
that
weed.
ain't no way, bro.
No, okay. So mull is another word for weed. And so you call someone a mull pig when they can smoke. They can smoke everyone else in the room under the table, basically. That's me. I can smoke. I can smoke my Uncle Marty under the table, and he is the hardest core drug addict you've ever met in your life.
I was gonna say I have no reference to who Marty is, so I don't. All right,
No, but
Cutie,
everyone who knows Marty, everyone who knows Uncle Marty is going to know how epic that is.
all right, Cutie, can you try to construct a sentence with snag? What was it? Snag, whatever, bunkers, banners, and mole pig.
Bunning snag.
Bunning snags. That's what it was.
Give me a second.
Okay.
You're gonna hear me typing because I gotta write up a
You gotta
script.
write it out. Okay.
Sav's got the tolerance of a tiny
right,
elephant.
so-
I
so-
will
so-
I don't know, it'd be
challenge you.
something like they call me the mole rat
They call me the mole rat.
snag.
But all I want's a good snag. I got the munchies, so I went off for a bunning snag.
I can't, bro. That's crazy. Right. So, is there any American slang you just don't get or understand? Like, because
I
like,
mean,
it's
if you use any that I don't understand, I'll let you know. You haven't so far.
Jeez Louise. All right.
I think the other thing to know about me though is I live regionally. I'm not a city dweller, so I live remote. The closest city to me is 5 hours away, and it's the most isolated capital city in the world, Perth. So I'm very we have some very very broad accents and some very uncouth sayings out here.
That's crazy. I could not be me, bro. But I mean, hey, you do you. You know, everybody.
Housing crisis.
Mm-hmm. All right, hold on. So all right, we gotta address the elephant in the room, right? So like, what is Australia? Because I thought you guys were gonna be upside down.
We're a NASA conspiracy. We don't actually exist. We're all paid actors, but you're not allowed to tell anyone. That's just for you guys. You can't tell the rest of the Americans.
Mm-hmm. That's
So-
fine.
I just recorded that. It's all
Oh,
over.
don't. I'll lose my membership. They'll kick me out.
We gotta talk about it on the.
They'll
on
kick
our
me out of
podcast.
Planet
Wow.
Fitness.
They'll kick me out.
Yeah, so like what is Australia? Because like you guys don't seem real, and like the idea that I've never come down there, I mean I guess it's slightly more realistic now, but up until today, it was kind of like, probably not. You guys got roos. That's crazy. Just these critters that punch dogs and have pouches.
Yeah.
A dingo's real. That's a real thing, right?
What's the real thing?
A dingo.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Dingoes are real. Absolutely. I don't live in dingo country. I grew up in dingo country.
There's dingo country.
Yeah. What are you talking about? There's dingo. Of course there's dingo country.
Country. That's like
I definitely What was the other one you said before the dingoes? Kangas. I definitely live in Kanga country. I live in the kind of Hey?
You guys say kangas?
Yeah, Kanga. Definitely. I live in the kind of area though where I do have to be careful driving out of town. Like driving 5 minutes up the road, I got to be careful I don't hit a roo or an emu on the road driving out of town.
So like, are they kind of like the deer up here? So like in New York, you'll just be driving and they'll see you on the side of the road and they'll wait for you to get close and then they'll just like jump into the road.
Oh, they don't believe you exist. They just like there'll be fences on both sides of the road and you'll see this herd of emu rearing towards it and half of them will get tangled up in the fucking thing and the other half will get over it no problems and then they just keep tearing across the road like you don't exist. And if you hit one of those motherfuckers, that thing will like whiplash onto your car, take out your fucking bonnet, roll underneath it, get up on the other side and keep fucking running.
Pause.
Won't even notice.
Pause. What's a bonnet?
Oh, your front of the car. What's that? The hood.
Like the hood. The hood is the front bumper. The bonnet. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, those coyotes, they always come for our trousers. We're talking about wheels. Like,
sorry, my AirPod died. I had to
learn English with Australians. Yeah. Do you know what? This is when we need someone like Isaac Compton on here, though, so he can teach you what the East Coast slang is, because he's got the real Indigenous East Coast slang. Like, have you guys ever heard? Well, no, I can't start bringing out the naughty things. It's too early in the morning. The children are going to be getting up.
No, listen, big dog. It's 6 p.m. here, so I mean,
yeah,
by all means,
it's nighttime for us.
All right. Well, we use a lot of slang, of course.
Start whispering.
ASMR.
It's late at night, mate. Yeah, it's just late at night.
Yeah,
well, okay.
We can do this. All right.
The one every single gent always wants to know, Budu. Budu.
What? Voodoo?
Budu.
What's that?
Voodoo?
I don't
do.
Bodu?
Yeah. Budu.
Butt do.
Budu, yeah.
So, all right, so like in like all right, if I'm at the club, right, and I see a little mama, and I want to, shoot my shot. So I'm just like, hey, little mama, what's that Budu do? Like, what do I?
No. Yours is the Budu. Yours is the Budu.
Oh, okay, all right.
That makes it more interesting.
She's got a sticky fork. She's got a sticky fork.
A sticky fork?
Yeah.
Ain't no way we got
Australia is
Budu
the most unserious
fork,
place in the world. It's crazy.
So it'll be like, hey, little mama, you want me to take my Budu and put it in your sticky fork? Like that? Like, that's crazy. That's not real, bro. This is a joke. This
yeah.
We're being desperate right now, bro.
No, you're really not. I swear.
You're not even Australian.
The other one that we use over here is instead of a sticky fork, we'd say it was a butch. We'd say Budu and butch. That would be our go-to.
I don't know if we're just too conservative for this podcast, brother, because like I'm still stuck on sticky fork because like what part of it is the fork?
Sticky fork. The way you say that's so cute.
Like
sticky fork. Because you fork it. You fork it.
Ooh. L.
Well, it's actually because it's got the 3 prongs. That's actually, but I didn't want to do that on camera. I'm gonna
Oh.
make my hand look like a wudge. Culture shock, Americans is Australian culture. You're welcome. Yeah. Just be as gross at breakfast as you can be. That's the Australian culture.
This is what happens
that-
when you get a settler colony and then a
Yeah.
you just like crazy shit in the sun.
Yes.
I mean, they put all the people they didn't want over there, so
Literally a whole bunch of criminals. They just let a whole bunch of criminals loose to take over.
Mm-hmm.
they're like, you guys are too far away for us to bother to really keep our hands too tight on them.
Yes. And literally, look at it. All the white fellas are in Parliament, so the criminals are running the shop, and the Indigenous folk are all just hiding out, hoping that they forget we're here. Most
That
of
makes
the
sense.
time. Yeah. I'm
Got to
getting
team up with
tangled.
the emus. They won last time. Together, unstoppable.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear about the emu wars?
Yeah.
You did that.
I don't know anything really about it. All I know is that they lost. to the
Yeah.
emus.
They wasted a
It was
whole
like-
lot of bullets and killed no emus.
Rounds or something like that. And
Weren't they like pulling up to like big groups of emus with like machine
those are-
guns and just laying it into them?
Yes. And the emus were like, what are you doing? I told you could hit an emu. I have a Nissan Pathfinder. I have a 4-wheel drive.
bro, that,
And I tell you
Emu getting
right
hit with a
now,
50 cal doesn't give a shit.
I tell you
Right.
right now, my car, an emu does not care. I have hit an emu with that car, and I had to get the whole front replaced and like my whole side of it, the tire, everything. The emu went under the tire, through the tire, got up, shook itself off, looked at me like, "How dare you?" and walked away. It could not be asked.
Cutie, I'm sending you a picture on Discord of the Wikipedia picture of the Great Emu War. It's crazy.
Oh yes. Yeah. The Great Emu War. So up there, that's dingo country. That's
He's
where
just
all
holding it
about.
up, bro.
What?
1 month, 1 week, and 1 day.
It looks like a big ass chicken, bro.
The emu, it is. It's a big ass fucking chicken. It is, but it's fucking tough.
Can an emu kill someone like 1-on-1?
It could if it
They
wanted
pick
to.
somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It could if it wanted to, but they're not bothered. They're not bothered mostly.
What if
They're
we
just
introduce like ostriches to Australia? Really, just kind of have them mingle with the emu population.
yeah. We do have ostriches up here. That I
Bird
don't
Civil
think.
War.
Yeah.
Why did I think I didn't think ostriches were from Australia? I'm just learning so much shit right now.
Oh no, ostriches aren't from here. But they've been introduced. They have been introduced. Same with camels. Camels are not from here, but
Camels
they've been
are not.
introduced.
No,
Yeah,
I
we
know
got
I didn't
fucking
know that they-
camels.
I didn't know that they brought camels to fucking Australia.
Yeah, they brought camels over here. They're like desert. I know what we'll do. same.
those
no
Arabs
problems.
got something right. Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn, I don't even remember what I was gonna bring up like 10 minutes ago because we just keep talking about
Emus.
sticky fork or whatever. Dingo fence. What's this? Now I'm going down that rabbit hole on
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
Love Island Australia did not prepare me. It didn't give me all the info.
Oh, the dingo pups are cute.
Yeah,
Alright,
they're pretty. They're pretty vicious though. Got to be careful of them.
So why does Australia always like do the bidding in the United States? You guys have like, not only are you a settler colony, but you're like a colony to the settler colony.
Oh, because if we don't, you just do coups on us and change our leadership.
Baller. I mean, America #1, baby. No, but like,
Yeah.
that's what we always do, man. That's part of the hegemon. Of the
Oh
world.
yeah.
I heard your anti-China sentiment is crazy.
Yeah, that's all thanks to you guys too. It's actually very, very stupid for us to be so anti-China. And ever since it started, and honestly, when Nancy Pelosi went and visited Taiwan, that's when I really started losing my mind on TikTok, just being like, The myth of American exceptionalism is going to get us all fucking killed. We are following them into the death pit. Like, we are, how fucking stupid is this? So especially what they've done over here in Australia right now, I don't know if you know this, but we did this whole thing where we bought a whole lot of your secondhand subs. You might have heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a big deal. And they've planted in Rockingham, which is on my side of the country over here on the west. The opposite side of the country to where all of the wealthy parliamentarians and everyone live, over here. They've also got our major port, our major military port on this side of the country up in the north. So the two major places are going to get hit if we do decide we're going to piss off China and go helter-skelter with them, because they're really pissed at us for bringing nuclear power subs into the region.
I mean,
it's going to be Darwin first, because they own the port too, and there's a military base up there.
You guys can give us the forewarning, you know. So,
yeah, we'll let you know it's
they're
coming.
ahead of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
I would always, whenever I wanted to get get on a game like really early, I would just switch my location to Australia so I could play it beforehand.
Yeah.
Maybe like in the future.
Makes sense.
Yep.
You guys get like every game like 12 hours or early.
Yeah. Oh, somebody in our Discord wants to know where they could follow you. So you gotta fill out our survey, our typical communist forms, so you can get into the server.
Well, I'm Tamara versus the Void everywhere, so that's but I absolutely I do have to fill out that void. Let me do that right now before I forget, because ADHD be a bitch. Let me do that.
Behind the Scenes Collective. And if you want to join the collective Discord, follow me, Ivan De La Rosa, on TikTok, or Comrade Cutie Pie on TikTok, or go on Collective TV on YouTube and watch our podcast later tonight, 8 p.m. EST. We're just streaming all day, bro.
Hello.
But if you join the Discord and you come into one of the VCs while I'm there and you sound like an Angloid, I'm going to let you know.
Yeah, so like that's the thing, right? Just to let you guys know, like, you know, that people, you left creators, TikTokers, whatever, they always want like degrees of separation from their fans or followers or whatever, and like we do too, but like we don't hide it. So like if you come into the VC, you got to be able to hang. If you can't hang or follow the rules, like you're done. Like we're gonna make fun of you and everything. What? Hello?
I have to tell you, this is the first form that I'm filling out since my birthday, literally yesterday. This is why we started the live stream yesterday, because it's my birthday. So I had to change it because I filled out the wrong I filled out the wrong age, and then I went, oh, I lied. I lied. First question, and I told a lie.
Really, it's only there to have confirmation that you have said you're not a child. Know what I mean? That's really the. It's for us more than it is for you.
Yeah,
I'm
remember.
I'm gonna be. Sorry, go.
What was it? I think it was like the first like couple weeks that we had the server, and someone was like, "Yeah, I'm 17," and we were like, "What?" Bam.
No.
She was like,
Yeah.
we're like, nope, out, no, bye, goodbye. And then I think there was one person who was like, "Why are you kicking them out?" Or like, kick you out too. Like,
Yeah.
No, how old are you?
43. Yeah.
When it asks the question, why do you subscribe to said ideology? Can I just say I had to do a degree in political theory? Like, is that enough of a reason?
We've already talked to you. You're good.
You're fine.
They made me read a lot about politics, and I went, it's all fucked.
Well, listen, I was tempted. I was like, let me just put them through. But then I was like, this will be used against us in the future. Where
Yeah, no, definitely not. No.
I'm a little eepy. I gotta go get some caffeine. I'll be right back.
Yes, excellent.
He's got the same profile picture as me.
Love it. I love it. God.
I'll be him now.
Tamara, stick some links in the chat for the viewers. For these guys? Absolutely. Stick the links in the chat. Cool. Ivan invited me. I'm going to stick that. Yep. Woo! Do you agree with the rules? Yes. All right.
I'll add you in.
I
I'll give
agree
you
to the
your,
rules.
rules.
Yes. Done.
Did you
Oh, for the
actually
guests,
read
you
the
duffer. Yep.
rules?
Well, it's don't be an asshole, is it? It's but don't be an asshole, right?
Yeah. As long as you're not a lib, that's really the thing. You know what I mean?
I
That's
mean,
about it.
like I said, don't be an asshole. What's the
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Also, cassowary sounds, please. Kim, I would love more than anything for the guests. I will put it in. I know. Do you guys know what a duffer is?
No, but it sounded like an insult, so that's why I didn't say it. I was gonna
It's
say the
not.
sentence out loud, and then I was like, "This doesn't sound. This might be
It-
something. I might get
It's
in trouble
kind
for
of-
saying this." You know what I mean? So I was like, "I'm not doing it. I'm not
We
taking
use
that
duffer
risk."
the kind of the same way we do the C word. So I guess I can understand why you might think it's insulting, but it is more of a loving insult. It's like, oh, you dag. Ah, you dag. Oh, you twit. Do you know what a dag is?
I don't know what a dag is either. So
Oh, a dag is the piece of shit that hangs off the back of a sheep's ass. We call each other that as a loving, kind
Oh.
euphemism.
we don't really have sheep, so
Right.
there's not as
Yeah.
much of the. Well, at least where I'm at, we don't have sheep.
Yeah. Yeah, where I am, there's lots of that kind of stuff. We got lots of I'm very country. I'm very progressive for a country bumpkin, though, I promise. I don't have the usual country politics.
Hello.
She's a peasant communist. Get her out of
She's-
here.
So she's a Maoist. Boo.
Oh no.
I'm mostly fucking with you, but
We have a kulak.
like I said, we've been beefing with everybody, or everyone's been beefing with us. Really?
Do you know my fate? Why has people been beefing with you?
Mostly because we're built different. And I think that's primarily. You look like you don't know what that means.
What, like you built like a brick shit house?
I am, but no. So like being built different is just like we're like better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes. I think we're built different, so people don't like that. People don't like our riz.
Oh yeah.
Ability to, yap professionally, and people actually genuinely like us. But also, no. Okay, so like in all actuality, like we've been running into some beef on TikTok, particularly going back to the intersectionality conversation. Like we talk about and we've called out, and people who follow us who are so-called opposition has deemed that we like command people to like go after people on TikTok, but like we don't. It's just people. What happens is someone starts beef, we don't say anything, then somebody
Yeah.
who follows us starts beef with them, and then they just go back and forth for 1 million views, and then they hate us in retrospect. But in our actual discussions and when we do make videos, and I don't make videos as often as I do anymore, yeah, we would call out the lack of intersectionality and basically be like,
Yeah.
listen, bro, like you're not gonna make a white paradise. You're not gonna reform the
Nah.
United States.
I was gonna say it sounds like blackfella TikTok, don't it, Belle? We can talk about the drama on blackfella TikTok. We get a lot of, and I know that sounds weird coming out of my mouth, looking the way I do. But just be very clear that for us in Australia, we use it differently. So BLAK is what we use to mean Indigenous people. So blackfella TikTok includes people like me being mob, even though my skin tone is not what you would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my
Yeah, we
heritage and my
about that,
culture is.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, we can get into that. But basically, it just started with that, and then like as we've like developed our understanding of Marxism, or at least attempted to, like when we start to move away from sort of the traditional TikTok positions of like China is amazing and can do no wrong, Marx is daddy and could do no wrong.
Oh no,
You know,
yeah.
shit like that. When we're like, listen, bro, like we're communists at the end of the day. What do we believe in? We believe in the destruction of capitalism, a proletariat
Yeah.
dictatorship. And if you can't do that, then like we're not on the same page. And
Yeah.
shockingly, people get really upset with that. And everyone wants their flavor of communism to be correct. This is why, like me personally, I just say Marxist Leninism because like that is what my understanding of it is. Whether Maoism,
Shaking your
what's
head.
his name? I'm trying to think of your guy, Bukharin,
Bukharin, my father.
Cutie really likes Bukharin, like all these people, like for flaws and all, everyone has contributed something. Some things I don't agree with, some things I do agree with, and that's just it. Like I'm a communist at the end of the day, and I understand that my job is to prepare in any way that I can the populace in the states for the inevitable balkanization that either will happen next week or 100 years from now. I'm not here waiting for China to come save the day, or Gonzaloites in Peru are gonna just suddenly rise up and make
Surround the city.
communist. You know what I mean? Like it.
No.
I think you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely. We talk a
A
lot.
lot of it really is just like it's people who like China or the Soviet Union have never done anything wrong ever, and people that are like, well, everything China and the Soviet Union have ever done is imperialist. And it's like, it's mind-numbing.
God,
I
yes.
have to hear one more time about how the Soviet Union is like hyper imperialist for daring to support like a communist government while they're like there's an incursion from literal American imperialists through Pakistan like into Afghanistan. I'm gonna lose it, bro.
Yeah.
We were just discussing this and not to ruin your birthday, but we were discussing how there is a group of Maoists in Afghanistan who sided with the Mujahideen to fight Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And like for me, so like I don't know what Amy told you, but I'm Muslim. So like one from a communist perspective and from a Muslim perspective, like siding with the Mujahideen, essentially Nazis, like to bring about the most right-wing conservative Wahhabi version of Islam, bastardization of Islam possible.
Yeah.
To side with them to fight the Soviet Union, which is trying to maintain an alliance with a communist government, is bananas, bro. Like I don't think you could justify something like that. And like when you think about the history of the Middle East or West Asia, like so much destruction was caused by the likes of Bin Laden and the Wahhabists in Saudi Arabia that really does link back to the destabilization of Afghanistan. So like, and Iran. So like knowing what could have been versus what actually happened is just crazy. And then the after effects of that, like, like even when it comes to 9/11 in the States, like that, the bourgeois using that to took advantage of that situation in order to enact more fascist policies within the States. Like there's so much tied to the failure of what that intervention was by the Soviet
we had a very very similar, and actually interesting you bring that up, because one of the areas of study that I started in was looking at Australia's anti-terror law and the failure in that policy. I started doing my research because I'm doing a master's in public policy at the moment, because of what happened and because of that atrocity and the way that the media was able to frame it, the government over here was able to push through a whole lot of very poorly written policy that has resulted in some very underhanded things happening in the government. And there were no sunset clauses written in, meaning that there is absolutely no, there's the government doesn't have to review this policy. And so they're just like, who cares? We just leave it and let it happen. But the policy is written in such a way that you can be arrested for possessing a thing, and you could go into court without you don't even know what the thing is. You're told you've been arrested for possessing a thing, and your defense attorney isn't even allowed to have access to all of the material that's being used against you. And it could be as simple, like it scared a lot of researchers in the space, because it could be as simple as you downloading a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook because you are researching something that researching the link towards reading that material and youth violence, for example, you might be. So you download a copy of it for research purposes, but immediately because you possess that thing, you can now be tried under this legislation. And we've got people who are serving like indefinite detention for possessing things and they don't even know what those things are.
Yeah, that just sounds like fascism. Like I don't understand how, and I know there's people in Australia and there's people here in the States who would love to see something like that more aggressively rolled out here. I know it's just bananas.
Yeah. Sorry, I know I distracted from the conversation there, but you just reminded me of it because it's just failure in policy is one of those areas for me. I love because one of the things I love, I did a talk yesterday talking to business ladies, and I played a clip for them pointing out how the war on drugs was literally not a response to drug use in the community, but a response to two communities protesting against government actions, one being the Vietnam War, the government's actions internationally, and the other being the civil rights movement. And in response to both of those movements, the government started the war on drugs. And you should have seen the mouths drop open in this conference. You should have seen the shock that a whole legal framework, policy agenda would be established just to target two groups you want to silence.
Yeah. The thing is a lot of people, at least I could speak for in the States, like education is so poor, not even just underfunded, but so poorly designed to get people just to be able to have basic jobs in order to participate in capitalism, that a lot of people aren't taught to critically think. That's why, whenever you first start going into these spaces that we're in, you got labeled a conspiracy theorist, even if you have facts and evidence. People who aren't equipped to think that way, more often than not, are reactionary, and they're gonna say, "Oh, well, like you got a tinfoil hat tomorrow, or you don't know what you're talking about, or you're thinking too hard about it, or they'll go sort of like the lazy fire way, which is like, well, what can we do? It is what it is. It's all just bullshit."
And I do, especially when it comes to prison abolition, I spend a lot of time talking to people and saying to them, you either want to stop crime or you want to punish criminals. You can't have both. You cannot have both, because what we know is that most criminals are victims first. And the victim to perpetrator pipeline is one of repeated victimization and repeated systemic failure of an individual. So you cannot have less crime and more punishment. You have to pick. And people just are like, okay, well, tell the victims of like assault and rape and all of that, then that you're not going to punish the perpetrators. And all of these women jumping in the comments being like, are you kidding? You're telling me that the people who maybe assaulted me, like, did the thing wrong when I was a teenager, the other boy when I was a teenager who touched me inappropriately gets intervention and gets help rather than getting suspended for a week from school. They actually get help and get taught how to treat women correctly so they don't go on to then be serial rapists when they're older. Like, yes, please, like, let's change the way that we are handling these situations from the youth upwards, because we incarcerate children as young as 10 over here. I don't know if you know that.
No, I don't know that.
Yeah, we're real big on locking up kids. We're big fans of it.
Here we have juvenile detention, but even before we get there, there's like programs, institutions that like children who were going to be charged with crimes will be sent to like live at. It's essentially like a camp, mental institution. They'll spend a lot of years there, usually ignored, neglected, don't really learn how to cope with their issues, and they'll actually get locked up, and then it's a cycle. But like, what even is a criminal, right? Like we understand that crime is a product of material condition.
Oh,
even
it's a social construct.
Blue collar crime, even crime when it comes to like the bourgeois, like what the bourgeois do, right? They're doing that because that that is the class antagonisms that exist. That is the system that exists. That's what puts these people in this position to be able to do what they do and makes them rationalize what they're doing is correct. Again, when you build a society that's based in this exploitation, you're never going to have people who can functionally think in a different way. I mean, you might get like us three goobers in a podcast thinking about it in a different way, but getting actual people, like people on the everyday term, to visualize, incorporate, and understand that, it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do find, because one of the things I even struggle with, even having conversations with people who are, I would say, full on leftists, even people I agree with politically, I've had to sort of learn that I've outgrown them, because I would have conversations with them like, no, everyone gets a house. And they would say, oh, yeah, but we need to do this. And I'd be like, no, everyone gets a house. Oh, but no caveats, no ifs, no buts. Everyone gets a house, full stop. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Everyone gets a house. And they would, and I'm like, but you're a leftist. How am I having to explain this to you?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, I think what it is, again, going back to what I said in the beginning, like people don't engage with Marxism. They don't engage with communism. They call themselves leftists or communists based off aesthetic, because they know that being a liberal or being, God forbid, a conservative, is not the way to go. But they don't realize how much of their own deconstruction they have to do in the first place.
Yeah. And I definitely, I think decolonizing is a big part of that as well, because one of the things I love pointing out to people when they talk about, because you get a lot of racists in the comments saying you should be grateful for colonization, you should be grateful, like you wouldn't have Wi-Fi without us. It's like, did you have Wi-Fi when you rocked up here on the tall ships? No. You came here with disease and pestilence and tooth decay. We had cures for all of that shit. Like, we had a cure for tooth decay and you guys were all dying from scurvy. Don't pretend like you were that advanced when you got here, okay? Like, we were doing quite well before you all got here. We were doing quite well. You guys were struggling hardcore. The whole reason you even rocked up in the first place. But yeah, there is. I forgot where I was even going with that point. This is what you get for getting stoned on stream.
I was gonna say, I was just thinking, I'm like, is your cone break coming up?
I was writing notes to try and remember where I was up to, but my pen ran out, so I stopped, and now I've lost my train of thought. I'm like, damn it, my external brain stopped working.
That's all good.
God.
You got anything on the dome, Cutie?
Bone tone.
I thought you were coming on camera, by the way. Don't think I didn't forget that. He's not even there.
Not even there at the moment. I'm going to have to do the same thing and just run off to the loo for 2 seconds. I'm going to leave the camera on so everyone can see the lovely sign my kids made. Enjoy the sign. I'll be back. And when I get back, I'm going to log back onto TikTok. It's so
You don't.
Oh, it's poisonous over there. Like,
All right, we'll talk about it. Go to the loo or whatever y'all call it. And,
the loo.
We'll talk about TikTok.
I'll run to the can. I'll be right back.
Damn. All right. Well, anyway, while we wait, please make sure that you donate to our family here. We're at $30,655 for a $50,000 goal. Be much appreciated. I know Tamara said she'll be making some shirts for you guys, embroidered shirts. I don't know if she's still doing that, so I might have just set her up for failure, but we'll just keep moving. Anyway, so for those just joining in, my name is Ivan. I'm here with my friend Cutie. I'm part of Collective. Collective is a Marxist-Leninist network on YouTube, Collective TV, and on TikTok, just known as Collective. We host new and old Marxist-Leninist creators to post content, to post agitprop, propaganda, anything of the likes, communist-flavored art projects, even anything of sort of the leftist Marxist in nature. If you're interested, you can always DM us or join the Collective Discord. Sure, tomorrow we'll put our details somewhere when we get there. That was like perfect timing because I just did like a whole bit and then you came back.
It's a Dunny. Thank you very much. Yes. What are we setting me up for? Bells. Every time I leave, the chat tries to go chaos mode. So
Mhm.
they absolutely.
I said I set you up because I was talking about the fundraiser and I was like, I know Tamara said that they were gonna make shirts or embroider shirts for you guys, but I said I don't know if they stopped doing that. So I said maybe I just set you up.
Yeah. Yes. No, you absolutely did. That was last night. Today, what are we going to do today, guys? Today, I don't know. I was thinking I might shave my head if we manage to make the 50,000. What do you
That's
reckon?
good. Yeah. Just buzz, you know.
Yeah. Who are we going to send it to this hour too? We've got to think of who else we're going to send it to. Who we're going to get everyone to send the stream to. Send it to a work colleague that you don't know why you still have in your contacts. Send the GoFundMe, not the stream, sorry, the GoFundMe. Send the GoFundMe to a work colleague that you don't know why they're even still in your contacts. That's the next person.
I got mad people in my contacts for no reason. I sent it to my ex. That'd be funny.
Yeah, that would be funny. Would they think it was funny though? That's the thing. You don't want to get hit with a visit from,
I haven't spoken to them in years. It's okay.
Fabulous.
Mm-hmm. Cutie did text me, by the way. He said he will be back.
I had so many people trying to call me to wake me up. I can't believe it was so funny. There's just...
What was it? My fault. I wasn't listening.
I fell asleep.
stream?
Well, I was going to sleep, for an hour, and I ended up sleeping for 2 hours. And someone was like waiting, trying to get into the chat, trying to get into the stream. No one had permission to get in because I forgot to sign over permission to Amy before I went to sleep because I was so delirious by the time I went to sleep. I was so delirious.
See, I'm a night nurse, so I'm almost up all the time. So like, I can't imagine not being used to it. All right, so that's something we can talk about. So, your name of the thing is Tamara. Was it Tamara Against the Void, or Screaming into the Void? Is it
Tamara versus the Void? Yeah.
Okay, so, in our medical terminology, void means the pee. So it's just Tamara against the pee, and then you called them voiders earlier. So like, you essentially just call them pissers.
Yeah, pissers. Excellent. I did not think of that. That is fabulous. Well, no.
Everything.
No, absolutely. I will call them pissers from now on, and only they will understand what I'm talking about. Only the ones who are here today, too. Only the 18 present right now. I have heard voiding is peeing. Yeah, I have heard. I have spent a lot of time in urinary analysis with one of my children, so I have also heard that as well. But in legal terminology, the versus is actually here we go. I'm adding comrade.
See, there we go. We got the camera on now.
Let's go.
There we go.
It took me way longer than it should have to
shared a new message. Thanks.
Because this was
fabulous.
My headset was dying, bro.
So
I had to charge it.
Was it doing that low thing where it's like battery low?
Yeah. And while I was charging, like the cord I used to connect my camera to the computer is also the cord that I used to charge this. So originally I was charging my dying phone, and then I was charging this, and then I had to use the bathroom, and then this is done now. So
excellent. Okay. So when you were gone, I know you were listening. In the other room. Tamara was talking about how TikTok is poison. So why don't we discuss how that is absolutely true?
Yeah.
I mean, I like TikTok, but people on TikTok are poison.
So I start with that drama you were referring to earlier.
Yeah, I can.
Which one?
No, Tamara was talking about it.
Okay.
They know what I'm talking about.
Yes. So I was talking about the black community and Black Talk. There has been a fair bit of drama. So a couple years ago now, there was a creator, Modern Warrior. Don't know if you've heard of him before. American creator. Yeah. So he was involved with some beef with a fellow creator that I that I was mutuals with, who was an Indigenous creator. And we were involved in doing a lot of I'm just setting up the live on TikTok. I'm going to ignore it, but I'm still going to set it up because, I'm setting it to 18 plus though, because I'm not dealing with underage people in the chat today. So so people were making a response to this video, and I made a response to this video from my perspective, because the video that Modern Warrior made that caused the upset was, they said, if you identify as white passing or white presenting, then you're white. Full stop. And obviously the Indigenous community, there was a lot of people in the Indigenous community who felt invalidated by that statement at the time. And particularly in Australia, we are very anti that statement. We are very pro, doesn't matter how much milk you add to tea, doesn't matter how milky you like your tea, it's still tea. So, doesn't matter how much because there was a practice in Australia in particular of forced breeding to try and breed out the black in our community. So we have a saying that if you've got one drop of black blood in you, then you're black, you're Indigenous, and end of discussion. We claim everybody who claims our culture and who learns our culture and who accepts that as a part of their life. So very much accepting to all. So there were quite a lot of us that made videos in response to that. And one of them was someone in the community who ended up getting quite a lot of attention as a result. And there was somebody else in the community who was quite jealous of all the attention that they were getting. And they ended up beefing. And believe it or not, through no fault of our own, because before this creator blew up because of the Modern Warrior drama, because they were someone who had darker skin, who stood up for lighter skin mob. And so they were really heralded as a hero to the community. But this other person who had previously been gaining a lot of traction on the app was someone who's Indigenous who had lighter skin. So they felt like they should have been the one who'd been blowing up for addressing Modern Warrior, because he'd been addressing people with lighter skin. So it became this colorism thing in the community, and it turned into such a drama. To the point that, like, even to this day, I rocked up into someone's live and I knew a couple of the people who were in the chat. So I was in the chat interacting with them, having a good old time. And then the whole chat got stopped. Oh, yeah, Belle, it was so gross. But then the whole chat got stopped, and this person goes, Tamara, you are not welcome as a part of this community. I'm going to be blocking you now. And I got blocked, and I was like, what the heck? What's going on? And then I got this message being like, you know better than to come into our spaces after everything that happened. And I was like, oh, I don't know who you are, but obviously someone's still carrying my name on and talking about me. So glad glad to be removed from that space before it became an issue in my life.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's just like a lot of things when it comes to gossip and all that stuff, that for a lot of people, gossip and drama is their whole life. You see it in the workplace, you see it in school, and you see it on TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, whatever. Like, people need to have something negative happening, and it's usually part of a bigger psychosomatic issue, which in turn is because of capitalism and the inability for people to yada yada yada. But yeah, no, it's always some kind of bullshit. Right now, like I was saying, our accusations is that collective is a cult.
We are a cult, by the way. The Void is a cult, just straight out and out.
So we're not beating the cult allegations at this point. So like we had you fill, we have everybody comes into the Discord, fill out that little thing just for our safety and your safety and whatever. And I think that also like perturbed a certain group of people, because they were like, why do you want this information? And it's like, because we're talking about communism, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not.
Anytime you
Gotta
join
have
any
strong-
political party or any political movement, they want to know what your political leanings and your political ideology are. They want to know that this is the right space for you, and you might not be the right person to make that decision, especially if you don't know what you're talking about.
And the thing is, you see, like, we have a pretty short, it's like 1-page thing of rules, and just like stances of like, these are non-negotiable stances, you know, which is like, we're communists, you know, really simple shit like that. And then, like, you know, we'll have people on TikTok being like, they're toting the collective line, and it's like, what line, bro? Like, the line of anti-capitalism. Like, what are you saying, dog? You're so dumb. I don't know. People just. But this is what happens whenever you start. You know what I think it is too, Tamara, and I don't know if you've had this analysis, but I think it also has to do with jealousy. I think it has to do with people who felt as if they should have been like the main characters when they don't realize that we're literally just a bunch of dudes with microphones who
100%.
And people just happen to like what we said. Like
100%.
Not that deep. It's not that deep.
And I get the same thing. Like there's an Aussie creator who's blowing up a lot at the moment because of the work that he's doing around in the housing space. And he's a lawyer, non-practicing at the moment, but qualified lawyer. He goes by Purple Pingers. Pingers is another Australian colloquialism for
What does that mean?
It's a kind of nang.
What's that?
Oh gosh. How do I describe a nang, guys? I don't know. Have a look at the link Wael shared. I will actually share it on the screen in a moment. Absolutely. Speaking communisms, whatever shall we do? I know. It's kind of like pills, molly, drugs, like yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you. Sometimes I get confused with my lingo. I don't always know what the correct terminology, international terminology is. But he reached out to me a little while ago and he said, you know, you should be the one talking on this. You're the one who with lived experience, having been homeless several times. You're the one who's actively working in this space on the ground. And like I said to him, I said, yeah, but for God almighty, like how tired am I? Thank fuck somebody else is doing it. Are you kidding me? Like I don't want to be the only one out here doing all this all the fucking time. Thank God there's a straight white man out here advocating for homelessness, an issue that primarily affects Indigenous people, but primarily Indigenous women. Like, yes, thank you. Go forth and speak. Like, not at all, you know. So, but anyway, yeah, that was the point I was trying to make, is that I just don't think that there is plenty of internet for all of us. There is so much internet. It's so wide that you can be talking about creator who you think is the center of the universe and someone else may have never even heard of them. There is plenty of airtime for all of us, and we're not all going to get the same traction. We're not all going to get the same, the algorithm is going to treat us all differently. I just want as many people as possible out there talking about the issue. I don't care, like,
but it should be me leading the revolution.
Oh, someone give me a break. I want to go on my farm in my tiny house and grow my weed in peace. I want to retire. Someone else take over. I don't want to lead anything.
It becomes sort of like a double-edged sword, right? Because we're like, geez Louise, can you guys like make content or something good? And then they start yapping and then they say the dumbest shit. And I'm like, Cutie, we gotta get on.
Like, never mind.
Yeah.
We can't let them get away with this.
Oh, there's one I've been dealing with, and I just can't. You guys will understand this. Because this is obviously a debate that has existed in Marxist spaces for a while. Do we or do we not participate in the electoral system? Okay. Now,
kind of. But not really. But yes, but no.
Yes, but you understand that there are arguments to be had, and there's nuance, and there's perspectives, and like I don't agree, but I can see that there are there's this bitch on TikTok who just keeps attacking me in the comments and just doesn't want to stop telling me how I'm wrong, and I'm like, okay,
who are they?
No, I'm not naming names. I'm not naming names.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I won't say it.
They know
Definitely
who
not.
they are.
They know who they are. Absolutely, they do. I'm subtweeting. No, but I said, okay, hang on a sec. In the context of Australia, we have been able to prove in a court of law that the Australian government legally does not have the authority to operate here. You're talking to an Indigenous person in a country where I have to also abide by my law and my custom, where my elders don't recognise the government as being the legal authority, and where quite often the information we're given in community is to not participate in that system. I do, as an Indigenous person, still make the decision to participate. I've run for office and I will do it again. My bestie who left just before you guys got on here is running the Greens campaign for the upcoming election and is begging me to run. But there's no way I'm about to come on anywhere, on any platform. Oops, Bell in the chat. But there's no way I'm about to come anywhere on any platform in any way, shape, or form and start telling people that they are wrong for choosing to withhold their vote out of protest. Because we have mandatory voting in Australia. And so if you don't vote, the Australian Electoral Commission has to find out why. So they send you a letter and ask why, and you fill it out, and they have to record that response. Mm-hmm. So you're not just not voting, you're actually advising why you're not voting. And there is a big, they actually record that movement, and they record that information, and we know where, for example, the most Black resistance to the electoral system is based on that information that the AEC collects. So, that there are arguments to be made for it. I still choose to participate in that system, but there ain't no way I am going to tell any one of my fucking elders that they are wrong for their stance and decision not to.
Yeah, like it's like I don't know. I feel like, especially with this issue, people think it's either you're voting or not voting, and that's all you're doing. Because if all you're doing is voting, you're not doing anything. If all you're doing is not voting, you're not doing anything either. Like you have to be organizing. You can't just be like, I'm gonna protest this. You know what I mean? And then that's it. Like, because you're not doing anything.
No,
you can't be like,
absolutely not.
I'll vote for these guys, and you're still not doing anything.
No, exactly. People act like voting is and that was the argument I made as well. Everyone who was shouting in the comments about, well, if you're not going to vote, then don't complain on the internet. I'm like, you act as though voting is the be all and end all. You act as though voting is the only way we have, the only option we have for participating in democracy. Like, if you don't vote, but you're out there chaining yourself to the front of the Parliament House every day in protest of Indigenous land rights, like,
you're doing infinitely more than any just voter.
Absolutely. So have 100%. But you do get a lot of these younger folk, I will say, who think that TikTok activism is the same. And I do both, so I absolutely understand that there is a place for both, and I understand that there is a benefit to both, and there is absolutely, I'm not at all shitting on one or the other. Like, one of the units that I taught was on hashtag Slacktivism, internet activism, and how it's been able to create movements and how it's been able to create positive change for a lot of things. So I absolutely appreciate this as a space where work gets done. But people who think that it's the only place where work gets done, or it is the entirety of the place where work gets done. And so you'll get people who shout at you for not speaking on certain issues. Like, for example, just recently we saw with Amala, what's her name? Oh my goodness, I can't believe I've forgotten her name.
Shame.
Her surname is the more famous name. I can't believe that I can't remember her surname. Ad break. Excellent. I can do a cone. Maybe I'll remember.
Jog my memory.
What's her surname? But she was getting a lot of shit for not speaking out about Gaza. And I was honestly sitting there the whole time thinking to myself, she's a humanitarian rights lawyer, one of the most well-known humanitarian rights lawyers in the world, who has advised the UN Special Counsel on the abuses of human rights in the Gaza Strip previously. She's probably silent on this matter because she's literally working on it on the ground.
Yeah,
Maybe you
she's supposed
shouldn't.
to be silent.
Amal Clooney. Thank you, Amal Clooney. I kept saying Amal, hoping that Clooney would come to me. Thank you. God. I'm like, she's married to that famous guy. What's his name? God.
I
but
knew
yeah,
who
she
you were
was.
talking about. I just couldn't remember either. So
Yes.
you're not alone.
Right.
True communists. We're like, we know who the human rights lawyer is. We just don't know who
I was
her
like,
husband
it
is.
Ben
Sorry.
Affleck? I can't remember.
Yeah. Which one of the white guys is it? Which one of the bland, mediocre
Which
white
white
guys
guy
is
with
it?
the crew cut?
Right.
Beard or no
Yeah.
beard? I don't know. Which white Western?
Which white Western man with their facial hair?
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely has its place, but this is why I retain the Marxist-Leninist line, of course, being, this is what lack of discipline does to motherfuckers. Like, if you don't have discipline, if you don't have a vanguard, if you don't have a subsect of elite propagandists and educated people who understand the need for different ways to mobilize and organize, whether it's online in real life and a combination of both, then you are going to fail at your main objective.
Absolutely. And
So-
I noticed that a lot with a lot of the leftist political movements. They very much do not appreciate the online space as a means of organizing, as a place to retain attention in between elections.
That's
as
why
it
I
were.
use it. Because
It's very cannibalizing. Because it's very intellectual. You know what I mean? Where it's just, I guess, hashing shit out that you can't hash it out online, because in order for you to hash it out, you need to be doing it materially, like in person, organizing. I mean, you can come to like conclusions on like some basic stuff, but like if it's something like should we vote or not, like like
Yeah.
we can't make that like go to your organization and figure that out. You know what I mean? And if you're not in one, join one. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Right, and-
Union.
and-
Join your union. Everyone shout it
Right.
from the rooftops. Join your union.
And it goes back also to no, I lost it. I will come back. Nope, I got it now. All right. So like it goes back to the whole like why people have issues with us when it comes to like again like talking about China. It's like, bro, at the end of the day, nobody in this conversation is Chinese. So this is
No.
a purely academic conversation. Like
Yeah.
this is not helping us today here right now in our community. Like we can discuss these things on our off time or even for fun. But ultimately at the end of the day, like we have to move on from this. We have to talk about what's happening today. But we'll go on.
No, I was just going to say one of the fun things for me to do often is I like to pull out. I know I hate. I would never do it in this sort of a discussion, but in those sort of discussions with people when they like to pull out, this bullshit, they go, oh, when you start talking about things I love to pull out my degree because I accidentally specialized. I did a political science. I've got a couple of different degrees. So political science, legal theory, criminology, and international relations. In international relations, I accidentally ended up majoring in Middle Eastern and East Asian politics and the politics of greater.
You accidentally do that.
Because I was trying to fit a triple major into a 3-year course. And so I had a very strict timeline. And a week before the semester started, they kept cancelling my classes. And the only ones I could get into were the ones that were studying the politics of East Asia or the Middle East.
There you
go. So I ended up doing a very specific degree. And so I'd start talking about things like, in the Chinese culture, they have this concept of eating bitterness. Have you ever heard of that before?
No.
So it's very much this collectivist mindset where as an individual, they take pride in the idea that they as an individual are suffering for China's proliferation. So they'll quite often talk about eating bitterness as a mark of pride. Like, we swallow the bitter pill so that the motherland can thrive. And when you see this trending a lot, and it's something that I find interesting. Whenever there's a trade war popping up between the US and China, and we were talking about it, and I said, just watch though this particular phrase go popping off on any Chinese social media site whenever there's any sort of trade war. Like the way that they talk about this stuff is so different to the way that we talk about it. They're not trying to demonize the West. They're trying to prove that they're stronger than us. They're trying to prove they're tougher than us. They're trying to prove that they can outlast us. Like they are just like, we've had to swallow. We've had 1,000 years of shame. We will prove that we are tougher than you guys. And we're all over here going, you know.
Inflation!
Ah!
Gas is $7. Burn it down. Burn it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I can't afford my cookies anymore. In shrinkflation, the packet's gotten smaller.
I think,
I'm only getting 6 cookies.
and I think a lot of that comes from the privilege that does exist, especially here in the States. That, like, yeah, incredibly poor people in the States are still doing much better than actual slaves working in lithium mines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So here, when you have people who are proletariat on border of petit bourgeois, they are unable to conceptualize outside of themselves. So, like I mentioned to you when Cutie was out that I'm a nurse, so like I am much closer to being petit bourgeois in actuality. And I see it with my coworkers where we make good money in the States, and it's very quickly becomes a conversation where people are like, well, if I just work 2 jobs for a year, I can buy another house and become a landlord. And like, but as opposed to me, where I'm like, I've just got incredibly lucky. I literally just got lucky. I was just able, and I was in some shitty situations. I was able to get out of it, or I got help and go to school, and now I'm doing much better. But like, why should I have to go through that? Why should anyone have to go through any of that? They should just be able to be provided for. So like, I'm willing to let, when shit finally pops off, like, all right, well, I guess no more TikTok and podcasting. I gotta go, do People's War in Montana. But like, you know what I mean? Like, people in the States are just not equipped to they're not in that position yet.
We talk about this. This is earlier we kind of half mentioned it. We talk about this a lot on our streams, that the idea of little acts of rebellion and also getting used to our standard of living decreasing. So I constantly talk about the fact that where I live, we do not have reliable access to internet, and we do not even have reliable access to power. So when I was setting up for this, one of the things I did was I hardwired all of the internet in. And my friend actually said to me, but what are you going to do if the power goes out? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I'm just going to have to stream it off my phone, I guess. I'm just going to have to do it off the fucking phone until it dies. That's literally all I can do. Because that's a reality where we are. We are, and when people complain because our power grid hasn't been upgraded, we can't switch over to renewables because our power grid, and I just sit here and I go, we can't afford to not switch over to renewables. And so you just have to accept that your standard of living is going to decrease. And the fact that you are so privileged and you are so caught up in your worldview that you're not willing to accept that as though that isn't already the reality for people living in this country alongside you. Because like my sister's a nurse, for example, like she's fully qualified nurse. She lived in Canada and worked over there for a few years as well, lives and works over here. She, couldn't afford to live on her salary by herself over here. There's no way she could afford, like, it's not feasible. Like, it's just not possible at all. I am better off than my sister, and I do this and earn $50 maybe a month streaming because I own a property. I own my home. Owning a property is the only way to get ahead in this country now. It does not matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many jobs you have. And we have the issue where our politicians just want to ignore that is the case. So we've been talking more and more about little acts of rebellion, finding ways to get yourself off the grid now before it happens to us. And like planning ways as a community to do that. So we've got a 5-year plan. So when I talk about the cult and the commune, that is real. We've got a 5-year plan to get a piece of land and get tiny homes built for people and get a commune. And we're registered because we also do acts of charity in housing and diversionary programs, youth diversionary programs for juvenile detention.
So I guess I see why Amy wanted us to talk, because collective goes Australia, collective goes tiny
Yeah.
house village.
Yes. Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
We'll talk more. We'll talk more. But yeah, I think here, like where I am, and more of, I'm like 2 hours, an hour 40 minutes from New York City, like, so still like suburbia, urban sprawl. Like, I would say little acts of rebellion here are more of like what you can do with your life, as opposed to like, buy, if you can buy property, do it 100%. But I think, for instance, like, now I'm not talking about me, but theoretically, like, at a job as a nurse, it is an act of rebellion to only do the bare minimum to make sure my patients are good and people are alive, and I did what I have to do, but not doing more, not doing anything extra. I know a lot of nurses who I'm friends with, they'll complain to me, be like, I gotta do this person's job, this person's job, this person's job. They're making me do all the stuff, running around with my head cut off, and I'm like, just don't.
Yeah.
Literally just don't do it.
It's called work to rule.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Work to rule. So it's what you're told your job is.
Absolutely.
That's what you do. Nothing else.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't get paid
like,
to do anything else.
like I have my routine. I see who I have to see on that assignment. I give the meds when it's time to do it, and then I do the
Yep.
paperwork, and I chill. Like, I don't. Nope. If someone rings the bell, I go see them. But I mean, again, we're not talking about me. But it's just
No,
We're not talking about me.
but
Me,
someone
basically.
who might, yes. We do little acts of rebellion things like my entire front garden I've turned into a veggie patch, and I've got fruit trees out there, so it's now a communal garden. So I've turned so things like that. So we sort of try do what we can now in our communities because one of the biggest problems we have is food. Food poverty in Australia is a massive problem. 2/3 of Australian children are regularly missing meals. It's just the reality of the situation. And you tell people that and they think that you're crazy because they don't know anyone who's missing meals.
Yeah, for the states, we have I don't know the statistics 100% off my head, but basically it's most children, not most children, but there's a good amount of children, I'd say probably more than 50%, who only eat when they're in school and like
Yes.
go to school. Which is actually one of the better things I can say about New York. I don't know about other places, but in New York, like, they do have like pretty substantial programs for like breakfast, lunch, and an after school meal. So like my area, especially where I grew up, where there's a lot of Hispanic immigrants, like they were really good about doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, food scarcity, and then malnutrition, in the form of like, some of the poorest kids here are obese because their parents can only afford
The
snacks
cheapest food.
and
Yeah.
candy and
Yeah.
ramen, and the kids can't go do sports because you need $500 up front to get into the soccer league, and then you can't play outside because there's no
You need
park,
the boots and you need the uniforms and you need the
there's no park
and the
for
other
kids to go around at.
we don't have food. Schools don't do food here. Like, they've got the canteen, so you can perhaps purchase food there. But same problem when you're in food poverty, you can't really purchase the food. When we do have free meals at schools, usually it is provided by the bikies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of thing we're talking about with the Lex Rebellion. Like, our bikies are, they do the work of what the cops. They're just like they're the cops, except they're our friends.
Right.
They're the real ones. Yeah. So you guys, it is getting on in hours. I never like keeping my guests beyond too late because then they won't want to come back. How are you guys feeling?
If it makes you feel better, we were just talking about it. I was asking you if you want to wrap up. I think so, because we're gonna do our podcast in an hour, so give us a break.
Yeah, give you a break. Have a bit of absolutely not a
Every
worry.
Time you saw me turn off my camera, like twist it off, it was me like shifting my position because like I'm sitting like crisscross applesauce over here.
Right.
So it's funny, if you go back and watch this, you'll see why I was fucking around with the camera, because I didn't realize I was pushing against the table, and I'm on a rolly chair. So just ever so slightly, the camera has been turning like throughout the stream. And I'm like, why is the flag not in the shot anymore? But yeah, I think we'll wrap up because give our voices a break, and so we can go ahead and yap on our podcast.
Sounds good.
At 8 p.m. EST. But thanks for having us on. This was cool.
Thank you so much. And whereabouts can we find you? Chat. Have you guys got the chat on your screen there? You can chuck in the chat your links so everyone knows where they can go and find you.
I can't type in the chat. I don't have a box.
Yeah, it doesn't let me type.
If you on the right hand side of the screen, there's like comments, banners.
No,
it doesn't let you. Really? Oh fuck. Okay. Cool. No worries.
Yeah, I don't see it. I can see I can talk and type in the private chat, but I can't on the comments.
All
can
good.
I
send them. Yeah. Go for it. Send it through to me on the Discord, and I'll pop it in the chat. Actually, I can pop it on the screen too. So even better.
You know what? Let me just do it now.
Leaking the private.
Yeah. Chuck it in the messages, in the chat, in the everywhere.
All right. So I'm sending.
Because then everyone can just click the link.
Here is the YouTube. Here's Discord.
Yeah, chat's on it, I guess.
So did you enjoy? I was going to say, did you enjoy that the banner that I made? Then I did.
I didn't hear you. There was audio playing. Can you ask again?
Oh, I was going to say, did you enjoy the banner I made for you? Then you enjoyed the graphic.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We were talking about it before we came on.
Yeah. I was like, I said to Cutie, I was like, I guess they're excited for us to come on because they made the banner. Oh my god,
Absolutely.
Cutie! You know what's crazy? I just looked us up on. I just typed in collective and on TikTok, and the first two results are our profiles, not collective.
Yes. Oh, is that not good?
I think it's because for a while I put hashtag collective in all my videos.
Yeah, me too. All right, so that's their TikTok. And then I'll
for me on TikTok it's just at Comrade Cutie Pie. That's it. Is Belinda asked.
Fantastic. And now
I've been Della Rosa.
Yeah. I was gonna say the chat is posting all of those in there. The chat is on it. My chat are the best. I gotta tell you guys. Like the Voidists are always on it. And anytime you mention a text, by the way, on any of my streams, anytime you mention a text, a copy of it will miraculously appear in the Discord as though by magic.
Nice. Yeah, so we have a couple shows. So like I said, Collective is a Marxist-Leninist network. We do a weekly podcast that's usually on Fridays, 8 p.m. EST. You can catch it live or you can catch the recording. Usually goes up right away onto the channel. We have video essays in the works right now. We also have our Collective regular TikTok, where we just post, pretty much our normal content, but we just put it on there. And then we have Collective Re-Education, which is a new show we've been doing. It's bi-weekly on Wednesdays, usually 5 p.m. EST, where we're discussing more of like intro theory to leftists and communists, but also like how to act appropriately as a communist on TikTok, because we clearly have a lot of issues with other communists on TikTok.
Yeah, definitely.
Your computer right now, like it's lighting up your face, Ivan. Like, I'm sorry, it's such an intrusive thought, but it's lighting up your face like the Yes We Can, like Obama propaganda poster.
I was thinking bisexual lighting. I was thinking you were putting on your commie bisexual lighting. Yeah. And I just have to do a quick shout out to Kim in the chat, because when I said that these works just magically appear, I was, of course, being facetious. Kim is our librarian, the cultivator of all of the works, the collector. Hey, sis. Welcome.
All right.
Yes.
So
thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Shout out.
Absolutely.
Collective Cadre, shout out Aria Serpa, shout out Lumpy Luis, shout out Comrade Larry, Comrade Muerte, Comrade Thanks, homies. All right, thanks, Tamara.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you so much. I'm going to switch over to the other.
Have a good morning and happy birthday.
Yeah, good luck. Happy birthday.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, that is fabulous. How good.